Heather. No, I don't like that. Hey everyone, it's Heather with Live, Eat, and Be Well. Today I want to do another recipe for you. Aren't you lucky? So I want to make some salsa. And I wanted to share this recipe with you because one of the things that's really important in weight loss and in being healthy is decreasing your salt intake. So if you bought a regular jar, put some notes here. You bought a regular jar of Pace Picante medium style salsa, you would get 250 milligrams of salt for every 30 grams of product. Now this salsa we're going to make today has 61 milligrams of salt for every 30 milligrams of product. So you can see that we cut the salt way down, right? A quarter of the salt is used in this recipe. So it's really great in reducing your salt intake if you can make your own stuff. This takes like 5 minutes to make and it's super tasty and you can modify it for your own taste profile. In addition, you can use this for a lot of stuff. So I know if you're on Raw Till 4, if you're trying to eat a high carb, low fat lifestyle, one of the things that you might eat a lot of at night is like potatoes or rice or something like that. Well, one of the things you can put on those potatoes and rice is like a marinara sauce or something like that. But another really tasty alternative is this super yummy salsa. And I like to eat it with celery sticks. I eat it with carrot sticks. I eat it on potatoes. I eat it with just about anything you can imagine. It's really tasty and it makes a great low fat, low salt recipe. Okay, so let's get started. I have this really super duper old food processor. I asked for a new one for Christmas, but I'm not going to get it. But I'm kind of glad. You can see the handle's broken. It like talks to you. Hello, my name is the food processor. But you know why? It still works, so why put more waste into the environment, right? Okay, so the first thing I'm going to put in is onions. Now this is 2 small-sized onions. I only usually use about 1 medium-sized onion, but these were really small. So I'm going to put those in. I just rough chopped them. They're not pretty or anything like that. Now I like to put these in the bottom. It's kind of the opposite of a blender because I like to put the chunky stuff in the bottom so I can make sure it hits those blades. Okay, then I'm going to put in some garlic. Now this also is 2 small cloves. I don't know why everything I have this week is so small, but usually I just put like 1 large clove, but they were small, so 2 small cloves. And then I'm going to put in one of these peppers. Now, you have options. If you don't have these peppers, I got them in my CSA. They're not very spicy. They're kind of a very mild pepper. And I leave the seeds in and I just throw it in there. But if you don't have these, you could use like 1 small jalapeno as well, which we do sometimes when we don't have these. But I love the way these taste, and I got a huge batch. Now you'll see I'm throwing my waste in a bowl over there and making a huge mess in the process. This is my waste bowl. And I put all of this kind of stuff into a freezer bag in the freezer and just save it up until I have a ton of stuff like carrot scraps, onion scraps, all of those kinds of things. And then I make a vegetable broth with them. Super yummy. So I'm going to do the same thing to this. I'm just going to kind of rough chop it. Now, if you choose to put a jalapeno in because they're super spicy and you don't want somebody to get a huge chunk of one, I would really suggest that you chop them up really small. And maybe wear gloves when you're doing it. I one time touched my eye after chopping a jalapeno. It was one of the worst experiences I have ever gone through with food. It was awful. Okay, so I'm going to leave the seeds, which, as you saw, I just scattered everywhere and made a huge mess. Okay, next thing I'm going to put in is a can of organic crushed tomatoes. I buy the organic ones because, you know, I try to eat it organic as much as possible. They're a little more expensive, but I think that it's worth it. So that's what I'm going to put in there. Kind of squish it around. Make sure it all gets in. Save that for recycling. Okay. Then I'm going to put in 1 can of organic diced tomatoes. Now, I'm also going to put in 1 can of Rotel. And I think this is just original mild Rotel. Now, if you like it super duper spicy, which I don't, you could substitute in 2 cans of Rotel instead of the can of diced tomatoes. But I'm a weakling when it comes to spice. So the great thing about this recipe is that you can modify it based on your spice tolerance, right? if this is too spicy, cut out the rotels and put in another can of diced tomatoes. So then I'm just going to squish them all in there. Ooh, filled it right up to the top this time. Okay. Then I'm going to add the juice of 1 lemon. And I like to add the whole lemon, and this is the greatest kitchen tool ever. It squeezes out your lemon juice. Of course, I'm having trouble with it today because I'm filming it and it's like camera shy. Okay. I don't put this refuse in my broth bowl because lemon in broth just seems weird to me. Okay. So that was not a very juicy lemon, but that should be enough. Okay. And then I'm going to put in 1 small bunch of cilantro. So this was just 1 whole, really tiny bunch, but that probably is, what do you think, a cup? Let's measure. I think it's a cup. Yeah, right at about a cup, firmly packed, of cilantro. Okay. So we're just going to put that in, and I like to squish it around so it's sort of evenly spaced. Because this is an old food processor. It can't handle everything. Okay, then finally the spices. What I've got here is 1 tablespoon of organic cane sugar. I find that this sugar breaks the acidity, but if you don't eat sugar, then you could put agave in. Let me see if I have some right here. You could put in a tablespoon of agave. This is just organic agave. And then I have 1.5 teaspoons of cumin. Now, I love the flavor of cumin, and I find that it really helps me cut down on needing salty stuff. So I put in a lot of cumin. If you're not a fan of cumin, you can cut that down as well. And that's it. That's all the spices you're going to add. No added salt, no added extras, right? Then we are going to shred this. And I'm going to start by pulsing it. I like it to be not super chunky. This is restaurant style, right? So not super chunky, but not like totally liquefied either. So let's do that. My onions are still kind of chunky, and I can still see some garlic chunks in there, so I'm just going to pulse it until those are pretty small. Okay, that's looking about right to me. Okay, we're going to do a taste test. I'm going to use a chip. I normally don't eat chips, but I have these organic tortilla chips. They're from Costco, and this is what my husband and my kids like to eat, so they're pretty inexpensive for that huge bag, and they're organic, but they're good. Okay, let's taste test it. Spicy, smoky with that cumin. You can really taste the lemon and the cilantro. Delicious. Okay, now what do you do with it, right? You have this huge thing. Okay, so I'm going to can mine. And I'm going to put up a video on how to can it on my other channel. So once that's done, I'll link to it. So I'll update this video. But other than that, you can just grab some jars, pour it in the jar, put it in. If you eat a lot of salsa, just put it in your fridge. It lasts for about a week and a half. If you know how to can, you can do that. In here, I have tons of jars, right? This is my jar drawer. So I have like pickle jars that I would put it in, or coconut butter jars. So just save your leftover jars, and then you'll have something that you can put that in. And it's really delicious, and it cuts down on the salt. And that is my #1 weight loss and healthy tip for you, is to cut out the salt. So I hope that'll be your New Year's resolution, and that you'll come back here for more tips. Until then, live, eat, and be well.
I hope you'll subscribe to my channel and check out my Facebook page and website.